Hey again, everyone. It's Tyler Cavalli and Jacob Roth along with you for KRVN Sizzling across Nebraska. This time we are in Fairbury, Nebraska, as we are at Rowdy's Steakhouse. Glad to have you along. As always, thanks to our great sponsors, the Nebraska Beef Council, the Nebraska Cattlemen, and the Dawson County Cattlemen, Cross Diamond Cattle, and Cross Diamond Meat Super Tran for powering our Red Meat Road Trip. All right, so we are here, one of the many stops, of course, in the southeast portion of the leg of the Nebraska Beef Passport Program. And this area in particular, we have hit home runs, and I expect us to continue to hit one out of the park.
No, I would agree. I've been in this ballpark, played here a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
For different sports and things like that. So I am aware of the stop we're going to. It's Rowdy Steakhouse. I've never eaten here.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to, always heard about it. You always hear about it whenever you tell somebody, oh, I went to Fairbury. Oh, did you go to Rowdy's?
Yeah.
That's a good thing that it feels like it comes up a lot. So excited to kind of learn more and finally get to see if the hype is makes sense, I guess. And with how things have been going here in southeast Nebraska, got a feeling it probably will.
All right, so let's go learn more and try some of the delicious dishes, what we expect to be delicious here at Rowdy's Steakhouse, part of KRVN Sizzling across Nebraska. All right, we're back once again as we're talking to Nels Sorensen now, who is the owner of Rowdy's Steakhouse here in Fairbury, Nebraska. Nels, let's talk about this venue that's been here for some time, since 2007. You recently took over, though, in 2003, and talk about the decision to take over back then.
The restaurant started out as the stable in the 70s, and then there was a fire in 2001, and then Rod Shainrock bought it in 07 and opened Rowdy Steakhouse, and I cooked for Rod for many years, and he was getting ready to retire, and the community was like, we can't lose our restaurant. And so I said, I think I can do this. And so we're going on 2 years now that I've taken over, and it's been a good thing. The community is very supportive.
Okay, go back to the stable part of it. That's a pretty fascinating story before, obviously, it was turned into a restaurant bar. Talk about the stable.
Yeah, the stable was a restaurant and bar, okay. And it started again in the 70s, and that's where roasted chicken and the elephant ear was created by the original founders.
So let's talk about, obviously, you mentioned that you cooked for a long time, so you already knew the ins and outs of everything. So talk about why you wanted to then step up and become the owner, obviously, outside of keeping things open.
Like I said, I wasn't born here, but I've lived here all my life, basically since I was 4, and it was just very important for me to have a community space and a restaurant here in Fairbury.
No, and I think that's one of the things that we hear at a couple of these stops as we've been going across the state, that these smaller communities, well, Fairbury is not the smallest we've been to, that restaurant in town is a really big hub. Talk a little bit about the support. As you said, there's been a lot of it, but talk more about the support you've seen from the community here as you've taken over in the past couple of years.
The community's been very supportive. We have, we're open 6 days a week. We serve lunch and dinner, and we're just a spot that people come to. We get a lot of lunch traffic, but then we get customers from Lincoln, from down in Kansas, sometimes as far as Kearney and Grand Island.
And talk a bit about that proximity to Kansas, as you're pretty close. Is that a pretty decent stream? Are folks from that northeastern parts of Kansas coming up here as kind of a hub to be able to get a lot of things done here in Fairbury?
Absolutely. We're just 8 miles from the Kansas line, and so people come up here, do their errands, do their grocery shopping, and then they come to eat before they go back home.
Again, we're talking to Nels Sorensen, who is the owner of Rowdy Steakhouse here in Fairbury. It's our latest stop of KRVN Sizzling across Nebraska, and of course a stop of the Nebraska Beef Passport Program. All right, so you obviously talked about you were a cook, so you are very familiar with what's obviously on the menu and continuing that, but also of incorporating Nebraska beef. So let's talk about that and what you have on the menu that is Nebraska beef overall.
Absolutely. Friday and Saturday nights we have our famous prime rib. We source that here in town from Den's Meat, and it's a fan favorite. And then we're the home of the elephant ear, which is our hand-breaded chicken fried steak, and it's called the elephant ear because it's about the size of an elephant ear.
So we always go somewhere to try different things. So elephant's ear, if that's what you're home for, we may have to try.
The elephant ear is a fan favorite. We got a half ear, we got a full ear, and then we have an ear sandwich, so you can have a smaller portion.
Wow, some options here. We'll circle back on that here in just a little bit. It's interesting you mentioned that you source a lot of your Nebraska beef from Den's, which is obviously a place that we have been a part of and is on the Nebraska passport. Talk about why that's neat to incorporate, obviously, Nebraska beef, but another local area as well.
Oh, it's absolutely important to keep it local. We support each other. They're right up the road, and so if I have a busy weekend, then I can call them up, and we take care of each other, and it's just that small town community that's why I enjoy living in Fairbury.
And I imagine the people that do come here to eat enjoy the aspect of knowing that it's Nebraska beef on their plate.
Yes, I believe so.
No, especially, I mean, that's really, really cool. As we've seen a lot more of these beef passport stops really interconnected. But talk a little bit more about the importance of kind of keeping things local, even if it's not just one community, but the area of the state, keeping things local and the kind of value that adds back to the community.
Keeping things local. If we're not taking care of ourselves, then we're having to source things from further away, which just increases costs, increases time, and by having it here local, we're just supporting each other and making it the good life.
How about the growth of Rowdy's Steakhouse from even when you were a cook here to now as the owner? Where have you seen growth at?
We've been fairly consistent. We have a very loyal customer base, and as people discover us through the Nebraska Beef Passport, and last year we were on the Nebraska Passport through the Tourism Commission. They're saying, "Oh, you're this diamond in the rough that we didn't know you existed down here in southeast Nebraska."
Yeah, so talk about obviously being on the Nebraska Beef Passport program and why you guys decided to do that. Also, I imagine that probably from success that you had of being on the regular Nebraska Passport.
Absolutely. Just additional exposure and supporting Nebraska beef is a good thing, and having people know that we're here down in Fairbury and that we offer a wide selection of beef, chicken, and pork products.
Yeah, all sorts of different options. Talk about kind of some of the, going back to the menu side of things, you highlighted some of the ways that you implement beef and use beef. Is there any other kind of special nights? You talked about the prime rib night. Any other things that are going on here that are kind of a seasonal or a special thing being done with Nebraska beef?
Absolutely. Monday night we have burger night. On Wednesday night we offer a whiskey bourbon sirloin. And then Friday and Saturday we do prime rib.
Great Nebraska beef options.
Yeah, all over the place, not even just the weekend. I mean, you've got all sorts of different opportunities to enjoy kind of the pride of the state.
Absolutely.
All right, so for those that are on the Nebraska Beef Passport program, for them to still stop here, still plenty of time. And even if they don't make it in time when the passport technically ends, what should they check out? Is it that elephant's ear?
Absolutely. We offer the elephant ear is available on the menu anytime we're open, and then we do have that prime rib on Friday and Saturdays.
So if they do come on a Friday night, you got to come in a pair and one person gets one gets the other, and they can split it? Or what's your kind of call if it's a Friday night, you got to pick one?
Well, if you got to pick one, I go with the elephant ear. But if you are here on a Friday or Saturday night and get here early, we do tend to sell out of our prime rib most nights.
All right, we're talking about this elephant ear, and I think that's what we'll have to try here on because it's so unique compared to everywhere else that we've stopped. But how big are we actually talking? Like, are we going to have to share one, or how big are these things?
Oh, they're pretty decent size. It's going to fill up the plate.
Well, we'll have to try out. I think the elephant's ear. I think that's the go-to.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about it. That's going to be it for sure.
All right, as we wrap things up here, Nels, talk about where you guys are located and the hours for Rowdy Steakhouse.
We're in downtown Fairbury, just off the Courthouse Square, 3rd and F Street, and we're open Monday through Friday for lunch and dinner, and then Saturdays we're open from 5 to 9 for dinner.
All right, we're back here in Fairbury, continuing our trek here across the great state of Nebraska. As we're wrapping things up here at Rowdy's Steakhouse, Tyler Cavalli, Jacob Roth. Boy, they are home of the elephant's ear. Let's start there real quick because we just got done consuming the elephant's ear, and we went big. We went the whole way, as Nels recommended and intended it for it to be, and it was unbelievable. It was a chicken fried steak.
Yeah, okay, so whenever we go on these different stops, the Red Meat Road Trip, there's kind of like a little Venn diagram in your head where you've got like the size of the portions, the quality of the food, and then the kind of the price point. And then you just try to figure out like, okay, where's this going to end up? In the dead center for all three of them. Just seems super worth the value. Great portion size. I mean, we're both pleasantly full. We split one.
Yeah.
And then just everything about the elephant's ear chicken fried steak it was like a perfect thickness, so it wasn't like too chewy. Something was like there was some magic going on when it comes to the breading. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, right,
and then the
right,
sauce was good. The gravy was delicious.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like worth, even when it's not beef passport season, just zipping on down to the home of the Jeffs and going to Rowdy's and enjoying I'm almost lost for words.
Speechless?
I'm struggling to speak a little bit.
It really was fantastic. Look, a gravy can go a long way, right? And that was the case here for the elephant's ear, and that's what they're known for here at Rowdy's Steakhouse in Fairbury. You know, it's interesting because we have this is, I believe, only the second time we've had chicken fried steak on the Red Meat road trip. So this was fantastic change-up for what we've had tried, and everything else has been great, but this was a good change-up.
No, it was really, really cool. And then we had a couple of folks ask me, what'd you end up trying? Someone said, oh, did you try the steak? So apparently that's also a popular option. It was like, no, we were recommended to go with the elephants here, and they're like, that's good. We're from around here, so we don't think of it as often.
Yeah.
But I don't know how. I don't know how you could get sick of eating that. Just so good. And yeah, also great. A lot of folks down here saying hi, saying what's up, seeing the pickup outside. Sorry to the young gentleman that's never had his monogram called. I did have to let him know that's
right.
I don't spin for monogram money, but it was still really, really cool to see folks that kind of know KRVN in general and were excited to see us, as it was really nice to see them as well.
Also, a great crowd. We came during the dinner hour, and it was a continuing flow of patrons here at Rowdy's Steakhouse in Fairbury. That was great to see, and great staff, Nels and his staff here. Fantastic.
No, you never felt like you were waiting for very long, and you kind of saw that for everybody. But it was just a constant. It's almost like it was appointments. Like the one table would get done, and then the next crowd would mosey on in, and there was no. It's just awesome to see community support a stop like this, a restaurant like this, to kind of keep things going, because it can be hard when you're in those smaller communities. And the community of Fairbury obviously supports Nels and the Rowdy Steakhouse here.
Well, and Nels mentioned that he can't do without the community support, but everybody was on a first name basis here. When people kept walking in, Nels was like, oh, hey, so-and-so, and so that was pretty cool. I mean, that's typical small town Nebraska.
No, it just was cool to see, and then we were the weirdos. They're like, who are you guys? And some people just talked to us, I think, for that alone. And it was just really cool to kind of see that community aspect of, obviously, every small town business can be like, we do it with the community, but to see it enforce this much over just the 30 minutes we were here, really, really cool.
So a must stop for sure. Once again, another successful stop on our Red Meat road trip here into southern Nebraska in Fairbury at Rowdy's Steakhouse. Again, you must try the elephant's ear. It is fantastic, the chicken fried steak. Thanks to Nels once again for his hospitality and his team's hospitality here at Rowdy's Steakhouse. Thanks again to our great sponsors at Cross Diamond Cattle, Cross Diamond Meats in Bertrand, the Nebraska Cattlemen, the Dawson County Cattlemen, and of course the Nebraska Beef Council, who's putting on the Nebraska Beef Passport Program. He's Jacob Rotham, Tyler Cavalli for KRVN.